Today we're gonna have an event. We will talk with George about regulation, about licensing, about compliance, and we're gonna focus on two jurisdictions, Europe and United States. I guess it will take perhaps 30 minutes. Let's see how it goes. We have a lot of things to discuss. And by the end of the event, we're gonna have Q&A session. So whatever questions might arise, you put them in the chat and I'll read them out loud, and either me or George gonna answer them. So hi, George. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Yeah, good to see you again.
How are things going in Bali? Are you still in Bali?
I'm in Jakarta. I'm doing some paperwork here, but things in Bali are going well. There's going to be a huge celebration on Saturday, I think. No, from Friday to Saturday. The whole city going to be without the electricity, without
Really?
the island. Yeah, the whole island going to be without electricity, without light. It's like a religious holiday for them.
So it's
And
due to the celebration, they switch off the whole light?
yes,
Okay.
and you have to keep quiet the whole day, the whole
Wow.
night.
Bali
Yes.
is so unique place.
Yeah.
Actually,
The idea is that the spirits are passing the island, and you have to keep quiet so they don't see you.
right. For those who joining us, we met with George on Bali. That's why we are talking about Bali, and we are waiting for a few more participants to join to jump to our main topic. Before that, I suggest you whatever question you have, you keep them by the end of the event. Also, you can follow our LinkedIn, and we have a few legal officers within AMLBot that can address the same questions if you have, whether it's related to registration or licensing or compliance. Whatever questions you might have, you may follow our LinkedIn and put those questions there. Also, if you have questions related to on-ramp, related to onboarding your crypto users with the banking card, you may follow Vert.io and George Basiladze, sorry,
Basiladze. Yeah.
Basiladze LinkedIn. And also, I guess our host will put those links in the chat. Yeah, thank you. And whatever questions you may have related to that topic or any other topic concerning compliance, registration, on-ramp, banking cards, converting crypto to fiat, fiat to crypto, go ahead. And I know with the experience of George team, you're gonna have all the answers.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah. So we met with George on Solana event, and he actually presenting this topic there on the stage. He was speaker there. And I felt like his experience, it's a real hands-on experience. They do it on daily basis. And it might be helpful for our listeners, for our members of our community. Because in a few words about Vert.io, it's a on-ramp solution for those who wanna onboard users with a crypto card, for those who wanna simplify the buying and purchasing their token or any other tokens on their website or application. And because of the nature of this business, this is kind of gateway from traditional finance to crypto world. So regulators put an eye on this particular space. And so naturally, this is where the most of the problem pop up. So George and his team on daily basis deal with all of those problems. They understood which jurisdictions serve better for which type of businesses, for which each type of services. And that's why we decided to have this web event and try to explain in as simplest words as possible from those who do it on daily basis, hands-on kind of practitioners. So first thing first, I'm passing microphone to you, George. Could you please explain in a few words what is the difference between US and Europe regulation? Why Word has both licenses on both continents? And is it enough, those two licenses, to work almost worldwide? Or are you limited by those two jurisdictions only? So passing mic to
Sure.
you.
Yes, sure. So I'll start with the licenses. So we our regulatory model and our business model is that we provide a widget or a payment a product that can be embedded to our B2B clients' websites. So in turn, their end consumers can purchase cryptocurrency or tokens or NFTs or whatever is being offered on our B2B clients' websites. And um, because of that, the actual service is rendered to the end consumer. Hence, in the eye of a regulator, we are just an exchange. We are a company that helps individual consumers to convert fiat into crypto. So we have to be adhering to all the regulatory standards, regardless of where we are located. Um, because we have to be compliant with most of the local jurisdictions where we operate. Yes, so we do have a crypto license in Europe, in Estonia, which can be upgraded into MiCA, and we do have MSB registration in the US, and no action letters from state regulators confirming that we do not need to have a local state level money transmission license. That's long story short.
Can
But
I
yeah,
sorry, can I interrupt you? Just a quick interruption. If I want to use your plugin on my website, do I need license or WASP registration
no,
or
no,
okay?
no. That's the whole point. So so there's a new term called conversion affiliate. So all our B2B clients now are called conversion affiliates according to Visa methodology. And we work with conversion affiliates that are non-custodian. So the main problem is that for non-custodian companies, like let's say a non-custodian wallet, for them to enable consumers to on-ramp into crypto, they would need to change their business model and apply for a license, do all the payments, KYC, applicable compliance, and so on. So our model is that we allow them to have this feature enabled without them having a license, because we are that company that actually does all the licensing, does all the KYC, and so on and so forth. It's
That's great.
just done in a form of a widget. And that's the whole thing. Like our company tends to work with the non-custodian companies, with companies that do not need a license. However, they need their end users to on-ramp into crypto. Otherwise, these companies end up directing and diverting their traffic to big exchanges to on-ramp into crypto and then return back and use the service, which is not good.
Yeah,
It's a broken
it has this traffic.
conversion funnel.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we allow them to stay independent and still have the on-ramping capability right inside the application, whether it's a web, mobile, or Telegram, doesn't matter, and still be independent.
Yeah, this is great news. And I interrupted you on some thoughts. If you still want
Uh,
to use it.
yeah. So we don't really want to work with, we do have VASPs as clients, but we do not want to work with VASPs because VASPs usually can have the same capabilities as we do. And they can go and do that on their own without our help. They don't need us. Um, that's like who we work with.
Really?
Yeah,
Even though they don't have this on-ramp capability, they just register as
they
VASP.
can create it on their own.
Oh,
They can create it on their own. I mean, if you have a license, you can do a KYC. You can go and open bank accounts, processing accounts, and I mean, if you have a license, you can do that. If you don't have a license, and in your business model you do not need to have a license, then it's a problem.
right, right.
Yeah,
So, if you don't mind, I will transit to other question. There are
yeah.
so many of them. Token
Yeah.
launch, very hot topic. Everyone watching this space. Spring is here, and project are about to start rolling their own tokens or think about rolling their own tokens.
Is it connected to Spring?
Sorry, what?
How is it connected to Spring? I mean, the market.
I mean Crypto Spring metaphor.
Okay. That's good. I mean, good to know that there's crypto spring happening.
Yeah, everyone waiting for that. And what when we are talking about business that want to do things by the book, fully legal, what they should keep in mind?
Yes. So this is the very important thing. So there are several things that they should keep in mind, but I would highlight two main things. First is the nature of what they are selling. So if it's
Right.
a token, the main thing is what this token is. What is it? How is it constructed? What rights the token holders get? What obligations does the company has towards the token holders? And this is the most important thing, because if the token has a structure that somehow resembles securities, and we all know what is a security, right? Um, then it's a big issue, because of course it's not a problem, it's not a blocker, it's not a showstopper. No, you can sell security tokens, not a problem. Or you can sell tokens that looks like security in a compliant way. But the first and foremost, what you need to understand is what you're selling.
Whether
And
it's utility or security, this is the first point, right?
yes, or it's a meme coin, or you can sell meme coins. Meme coins are now classified as collectibles. There is a SEC statement on it. So anything which is in between, you can call it a meme coin, and that's it. See, the key aspect of meme coin is that it's a symbolic value. Like
And keep fall under the same category, right?
uh, meme coins are collectibles, meaning that they are not financial instruments.
Right.
And that means that you can sell it as much as you want.
I
It's
mean
just
NFT is
it's
NFT
like
this.
NFT. Yeah, it's like NFT but fungible. Yeah,
Right. Right.
kind of the same. And this is new trend, and I've seen many companies that are launching meme coin platforms. So like athletes, musicians, influencers can issue their own meme coins and sell it to their fans. Uh, this is kind of like a new generation that's happening right now. I don't know
Without
how.
any obligation, right?
Sorry?
Without almost any obligations, you can.
Yes, without any obligations. Yes, of course. And this is a new thing happening. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but we see many platforms building that thing. Now, I was saying the first thing was what you are selling, the token. You have to understand what is the nature of the thing that you're selling. And the second thing is how you sell. So even if your token resembles a security, or you're not sure, but let's say mentally you think that is a security. You don't have a legal opinion, or you have a legal opinion, but you think that it's a security. There are ways how you can minimize any regulatory risk. So the biggest challenge and the biggest problem with selling security is the US market. The issue is that historically, US market is the biggest market in all the markets. This geography is the most paying geography in the world. And if you're selling any crypto product or crypto securities or crypto tokens, you cannot avoid thinking about selling to US people. So that's the big issue. Now, in terms of the US, there are several ways how you can sell your tokens in the US, even if it's a security. Hold on a second. I am gonna. Do you have this presentation, Slava, that I did? You are on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have it. And which slide you want me to share?
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it. It's a cheat sheet.
Okay.
Yes. So there is regulation 506C, which says that in the US, you can do. Okay, so first thing, when you do sales of securities or any regulated product, you have to be clear about how you sell it. Whether you do active solicitation, or in the US it's called general solicitation. Yes.
I can share this picture because this is one of the most interesting thing.
Yes, please.
Let me
Okay.
share. Do you see it?
Yes.
Because I guess it's easy to explain from the picture rather than explain.
Yeah. Okay. So the main thing when you sell a security, and when the whole problem about security sales and token sales, whether it's a security sale or not, comes from the way it's presented to potential investors and potential buyers. There's a thing called active solicitation or direct solicitation and reverse solicitation. So active solicitation is when you place your offer in the eyes of your potential buyers without any restrictions. So they can directly buy whatever you're selling. And on the left side is the example of active solicitation thing. Yes. On the right side is reverse solicitation. So reverse solicitation, when you do a security sale, but you never directly target the potential buyers, meaning that they don't have the access and knowledge that of the sale that they are doing. So, for example, they learn somehow that there's a token sale, and they reach out to you and request a prospectus. This will be treated as reverse solicitation rather than active solicitation. Now, let's take example of, it's bad quality, but let's take example what's on the left, the example of active solicitation. You see here, there's a price, payback period, and some stats of what this investment product offers. This is bad. This is not good. You cannot do that without doing proper registrations in the US, because you are actively the fact that you on your website have an offer works like an advertisement. For the regulators, it's the same thing as advertisement. So the fact that on your website there is an offer to purchase those tokens or those securities is the same as running ads on Google or buying display ads or offline ads. The same. So if you have any doubts whether you are doing whether you're talking security or not and how to do it, you avoid doing active solicitation in the US unless you want to follow certain exemptions. And we're going to now talk about exemptions. So there is an exemption number 1, Rule 506, which means that you can do active solicitation in the US, but you can sell only to high net worth individuals or so-called accredited investors. And according to that rule, you have to actively verify their accredited investment status. So self-certification will not work. This is great for the company that want to do a token launch or security sale launch, because you can still advertise it. You can still run you can still have a public website, and you can still talk about the raise. However, you should, if you're doing it under this 506 rule, that means that you are just limiting yourself on who can participate after they showed interest.
All right. All right.
Yes. Also, you have to register the security offer with SEC. It's called Form D, but it's really, you can look it up in the internet. It's not a problem. The second thing is you can run a campaign with the accredited crowdfunding platform in the US, and they will handle everything on your behalf. You can do ads, you can do campaigns, you can do basically everything. The main issue is that your raise gonna have a limit of $5 million, which is still not bad, I think. And this is only 2 ways how we can do active solicitation in the US without going through like full-blown registration with SEC of your prospectus and your security sales. That's like really only 2 ways. There are no other exemptions, and there are no other ways to do it.
Got you. Yeah, when you're talking about token launch, purchasing tokens through the website, one question pop up in my mind. How do you deal with illegitimate chargebacks? For example, some users come to the project and this project not scam, but what happens, the price goes down and they start calling their banks. And I think all fingers pointed to Vert.io, right?
Yeah, for example, Trump coin.
Yeah, good example.
Yeah. So there are rules and consumer protections, right? But that has enforced by the regulators in the US, in EU, and so on. But there are also another type of a quasi-regulator, which is card schemes, Visa and MasterCard. They have their own rules on how sales of cryptocurrency is done, and they don't care whether it's security, utility, Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's done the same. They classify those transactions as quasi-cash, meaning that it's
What,
the
sorry?
same. Quasi-cash, it's called.
Okay.
So it's the same. It's the same classification as if you go to the ATM and withdraw money. It's the same type of a transaction. And the core feature of it is that there are no chargebacks. Like you cannot
Oh,
charge, yes, you cannot charge a cryptocurrency transaction claiming that you don't like it. You can charge saying that it was me, or you can charge saying that I haven't received my cryptocurrency that I bought, but you cannot charge saying that I didn't like it.
all right.
Unfortunately, all the sales are always final.
And I bet you have all of the evidence because you have crypto
Yes,
transaction.
yes,
You could
yes, because
always
we do the KYC, we do the 3DS, and we provide the evidence that the crypto has been delivered. So unfortunately, we are not in a position and will never be in a position of doing any refunds.
got you. For the it's unfortunately maybe for some of the users, but it's fortunate for the project
Uh,
because
yes,
otherwise everyone can
it's not only it's actually it's very good for users, because if the responsibility of if this responsibility were to fall on the project or on our burden, on our shoulders, it will increase the cost of doing business so
exactly.
much that it will be really economically like inefficient, because we still do the due diligence. So even though we have limited responsibilities when it comes and obligations when it comes to working with projects, however, we still do our own due diligence on companies that we work with, regardless whether they are a token project or non-custodian company or NFT marketplace, doesn't matter. We still do our due diligence, and that means that we still screen those projects. We have to. There's no other way. And there are very rare cases when users claim claim fraud or want their money back because of the price movement. Usually, it happens when there is a rug pull, or when there is some fraud happening or scam happening or something really bad. But in our history, it didn't happen because we do our screenings and we do our due diligence, and we do not work with projects that potentially can do something shady or bad. Usually,
Right.
these projects that are planning for an exit scam, usually they don't need a fiat on ramp. They don't need any kind of a fiat connectivity, because this will involve verifying the identity of founders, verifying the identity of the shareholders, UBOs, and so on. And this is not something that they want to do at all.
Right, got you. And continue this topic about active and reverse solicitation. I would like to ask you about KOL and influencers, of course, from the
Yes.
regulatory perspective, because for the most of the projects, this is still the main marketing channel. No matter how much people complain about quality of the KOLs, quality of the influencers, is still one of the best channel for them. So it's naturally led to pump and dump schemes, inside trading, and so on. For example, there is a case in 2024, influencer Hailey Welsh, if I pronounce it correctly, was accused of
Yes.
trading, for example.
Yes. So this is a very interesting topic for me. So influencer marketing and KOL marketing was invented uh, because of active solicitation rules. So the idea is that you cannot do direct marketing, you cannot do active solicitation, so you outsource that to KOLs.
Right.
In theory, it works in a way that um, there is a KOL that has its audience, and this KOL found out on internet about a new project, and genuinely they got interested, they test it out, and genuinely they recommend this to their followers. This
Exactly.
is a good scenario, but this is rarely the case nowadays. Because in that scenario, everything is great. There are no regulatory issues. There are no regulatory risk, neither for the project nor for the KOL. However, things get tricky when these KOLs get paid.
Or
Because
as a stake in a token
yes, or have a stake in a token. Yes,
allocation.
or token allocation. It's the same. They get paid or they get
Right.
compensated or whatever. Um, it's not obvious because these KOLs now become incentivized, and when they are incentivized, it loses this characteristic that this is an independent research, that this is a reverse solicitation kind of a thing rather than active, because indirectly the company paid somebody to do the marketing, to spread the word about the project, and these KOLs, they are actively inviting people to invest. And there is a term, let me remember how it's called.
Influencer.
No, there is a term for it. So I think it's called unregistered promotion or something like that. So when KOLs do have a responsibility. So when you, as a KOL, for example, right, when you promote something, you do have a responsibility, because if you're just doing a YouTube, and on your YouTube channel there are hundreds and thousands of people watching, you act as a promoter of something. And if this something that you're promoting is a scam, then you are part of this scheme, especially if you get paid and incentivized to do so.
Right.
And there have been cases of SEC investigation of influencers, even Kim Kardashian or somebody like the high
Yes.
profile influencer, they got fined for promoting some shady tokens. And when KOLs, of course, there is a way for KOL to do a marketing campaign compliantly. It's not a problem. They have to avoid actively pushing people to invest. They have to avoid saying ROI, returns, investments, money, reach, fast, and
Fuzzy words, right? You mean
fuzzy
those?
words. Yes, yeah. Uh, they have to genuinely review the product for the audience and genuinely invite people to try the product, not to invest, try it. And if they
Right.
like it, they can invest. And if they get paid or they have a stake, they should disclose it.
Right. And from as far as I know, in the UK, they obliged to be registered in the UK.
Yes, yes. Now, in the UK, there is even new regulation called Financial Promotions Law. So anybody selling crypto investment products, crypto assets to UK residents, uh, have to register with the FCA or with the appointed agent that will review the offer and put a stamp that, okay, this offer of securities or crypto assets is valid and compliant with UK laws. And they basically tried and killed the reverse solicitation. The
Right.
FCA is like putting pressure on any company that does reverse solicitation on UK market.
Is it something similar in US and European?
No, it's different. It's very different. In the UK, they've even done a whole, like a cool-off period of 1 day. So if you register with a UK licensed crypto exchange, or you try and buy the service crypto assets that are registered with the local with UK financial promotion registration, uh, you have a cool-off period of 1 day. So you cannot access this financial product for the first day. You have to wait for 24 hours before you buy.
Okay.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. And also, there are so many questions, but I guess we more or less, no, regarding, still regarding KOL and influencers, from what you said, it's rather responsibility of them. What about projects? Do they need somehow report those?
No, they don't need to report. No, they don't need to report. However, they need to make sure if a KOL is acting on their behalf, that the KOL is doing that compliantly.
All right. So it's become their responsibility as well.
Yes.
Good. All right. And
Unless these KOLs act independently.
yeah, exactly. They did their
Yes.
own research and just believe in the project. It might
Yes.
happen for
Yes.
sure. There is another question I would like to ask you. Staking.
Please.
It's pretty much
Yes.
the one of the main way to get some money nowadays on that market for crypto folks. Again, from the same perspective for businesses, they might think to add this as a feature or create a business based on the staking. What regulators think about staking? How they regulate in those two jurisdictions?
Yeah, so staking is tricky because there is custodian and non-custodian staking. And it also, so custodian staking is treated as a cryptocurrency service that requires a license and requires following all the KYC and regulatory guidelines. Custodian staking is kind of dead. Uh, Non-custodian staking. Now, when it comes to non-custodian staking, it really depends on um, how it is presented to the consumer. Because regulators, they do follow the nature of the proposition which is presented to the consumer, regardless how you try and groom it. Because if a project issues a token, which is a utility token or whatever, and then launches a staking pool where you can deposit this utility token and get APY. Now, the question is, this APY, where does it come from? If this APY comes directly from the efforts of the company, directly from the efforts of the developer team and the project team, then it's not really different from paying
Security.
kind of, yeah, it's paying dividends or paying uh, yield on the, it's like a bond, basically.
Yeah,
And this is not very pleasant. There were cases where SEC has enforced the small, even smaller projects has enforced that, this is a profit sharing arrangement,
exactly
regardless,
right.
yeah, regardless how you call it, whether it's staking or whatever, whatever. However, if the APY or staking rewards are generated from the overall protocol performance rather than a single company or single management team performance, it can be treated as a different thing, because now it becomes a proper spirit of staking. You stake your tokens. These tokens act as a security mechanism for the whole protocol, and you get rewarded as a token holder.
Yeah,
Imagine
because
Ethereum.
you contribute in this security in the whole
Yes,
robustness
yes.
of the
And but the main thing is that a protocol works itself.
right.
It's not the company that does all the stuff and drives profits and drives the adoption of the token. It's the protocol itself. Take, for example, Ethereum. So Ethereum is a protocol, and you can buy Ethereum and stake it, and you will get staking rewards. But neither Vitalik nor Ethereum Foundation actively manage the protocol.
Exactly right. Got you. So
So
yeah,
this is the spirit of it. Like,
yeah, because you stake and there is mechanism when you validate transaction based on your stake. So
yes,
you help protocol to be robust. You help
yes.
protocol be
And when
secure.
you do, yeah, and when you do staking, like you stake your tokens, and then the company directs a part of these profits to buy back tokens from the market and then distribute staking rewards. This is a security just dressed in a different way.
Exactly right. And I guess I will ask the last question, and then we can switch to Q&A session if we have question from audience. So I have only one question regarding taxation, which is also important for any businessman or startupper. What are the tax risk if I own company in another country?
Yeah. So we touched that on the seminar. So this is a known problem, but not all of founders and Web3 founders understand it. So there is a thing called controlled foreign entity regime, and there are different variations of it in the US or in EU, and like there are many regulations that with different names. But the main thing is that if you own a if you own or you control a foreign entity, in many cases in EU and in the US, you are liable for profits that are accumulated in that foreign entity. Is that clear?
So, if I being registered in European Union, and I have entity, let's say in Asia, and
Yes.
if entity accumulates some profits, I might pay in both jurisdictions, right? In Europe,
No, you might be liable for your portion of the profit that has been accumulated in that entity in your home jurisdiction. Let's say you're German.
right?
You uh, you establish an SPV in Cayman Islands.
Oh, no, I got it. Okay,
To issue and this SPV will issue tokens and sell those tokens to consumers. And if those are utility tokens, which many think is this desirable scenario, then selling of those utility tokens is basically revenue, and that means that there is a lot of net profit which is not taxable in Cayman Island that's been accumulated. Uh, and if you are a 100% owner, let's say just for the sake of
good.
so for simplicity, you are 100% owner of this SPV in Germany. You might be liable to
Got you.
declare those profits of the foreign control entity, and you might be liable to pay taxes in Germany because you own an entity that has profits in a foreign jurisdiction. And there's the whole thing about exchange of tax information between revenue offices across Europe and across world. And this is really a complicated piece of regulation, and you don't really want to screw this up because tax thing is really hard. I know personally some German founders. That's why I made the example. Moving to Dubai, uh,
To
becoming
avoid
sorry,
this,
yeah, to avoid this, they want to become Dubai residents, Dubai tax residents.
okay.
Uh, avoid being German tax resident, and then do their own entrepreneurial activity.
All right. Is this the only way to avoid this actually?
No, it's not the only way. It really depends on how many of you are co-founders. If one, two, three, five, then it's a different story. But it really depends on your local tax
Yeah.
tax legislation.
And
But
in your
the rules are more or less the same. I mean, there are here and there different exemptions and different cutoffs, like if it's a 50%, if 25%, but really the principle is the same.
got you. All right. Just to wrap up before a Q&A session, from what I understood, those projects, they are not willing to register CASP, WASP, not wanna have license, but still wanna participate in the crypto market. They can come to Vert.io, use this plugin, and you'll do the rest.
Yes.
Compliance, on-ramp, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Don't need to worry about it. Chargeback,
Yes.
everything will be
Yes.
handled by Vert.io, right?
Yes.
For those who wanna have the same issues, the same problem, they wanna register WASP, they wanna get license,
They want
and
to use AMLBot for compliance. And
exactly right.
yes, yes,
Or get all of the needed KYT and KYC services. Right.
yes.
Thank you. So I have a first question here. What about the case when staking rewards are paid from, for example, a marketing fund that was defined in the in the project? So let's say from the very inception of the project, the project team allocated some, let's say 10% for painstaking reward. Is it still fall under the
So let me
security?
get this clear. A project has raised $100 million, for example, and
Right,
allocated 10% to staking rewards.
exactly
So
right.
investors or token holders got paid from the money that they've invested.
Right, exactly right.
Does it make sense?
In some cases, yes, but the
I mean,
question is,
but it's like airdropping the money.
yeah,
And this
it's
taken marketing pool gonna run out.
right.
Okay. I think in that case it's okay. But
From the regulatory perspective, right?
yes, from the regulatory perspective, but I don't see how this makes sense for,
Yeah, it's
it's
the question about risk, whether it's
yeah, I think no, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I'm not a lawyer, of course, but I think it's okay.
okay, good. Do we have any other questions here? Maybe I don't see any in the webinar chat. There is some. This might appear off topic, but as the experts in the industry, can you give your opinion and provide information on turning WASP to CASP?
Yes. So VASP was and is an old name for virtual asset service provider, which is global. It's I think FATF invented it, so it's
Yeah,
kind of like global acronym. CASP is EU local.
MiCA.
MiCA, yes, which is the same. VASP and CASP is the same. It's just VASPs that are regulated in EU are now called CASPs. That's the difference.
I might rephrase if I understood it correctly. If I had license before MiCA come into place, and now I
Yes,
need to transit to be MiCA
yes,
compliant,
yes. There
you're
is
in this
a
process,
in
right?
every country. Yes, in every country that has a VASP regulation arose after fifth anti-money laundering directive in EU. So according to fifth AMLD, local FIUs are basically registering VASPs for their AML responsibilities. Now, in most of the EU countries, this was true. And now there is MiCA. So that means that there is a pool of already registered VASPs that will be transitioning to customs.
Right.
Every country in EU that adopted the regulation, that adopted MiCA, has introduced so-called grandfathering regime. It depends from country to country, but
Okay.
in Germany, for example, if it's 12 months. And that means for that 12 months, VASP license is still valid and companies can do business. However, they have a year basically to apply for a CASP license. Basically, it's kind of upgrading your VASP license into a CASP license. And there is a special procedure for it. It's different from if you apply just as a CASP. If you have a VASP license and you apply, the procedure is different than if
A
you
little bit
just
easier,
apply.
I
Yes,
assume.
yes. It's a simplified procedure. There is a liberty for member states on how they do the simplification, but basically there is a simplified procedure. So if you had a VASP license prior, the process is easier for you than if you just apply for a CASP license from the beginning.
Good. There is another question. All right. There are two questions, but I continue with WASP-CASP and then
Yes,
switch to.
yeah, I can see the questions as well.
Okay, good.
I'm currently holding VASP license to Czech Republic and I'm about to upgrade from company to CASP. So I want to know if you have any information in the pitfalls, etc. Yes, so I'm not sure exactly for the Czech Republic, but in the EU there's a new regulation called DORA, Digital Operations Resilience Act. I think it's DORA.
Yeah. We had
Yeah,
a webinar.
Digital Operations Resilience Act. Yes, which is a new type of a regulation that regulates ICT, all information technology risks and information technology operations of financial institutions. And in Estonia, for example, you need to be compliant with DORA before you apply for MiCA.
This is the first pitfall to be compliant.
Yes, that's the first pitfall. And this regulation is not easy. You need to basically have an internal audit of your IT systems, do business continuity, disaster recovery, risk management, and risk assessment of all your IT systems, which are critical to providing your CASP services. And you need to have resilience and backups and everything. And you have to file this to your local regulator, like a DORA report, and you have to do this annually.
Right.
It's a lot of work. And you have to it's not just paperwork, you have to organize your digital business and digital operations in a new way. And this is just to apply to a CASP license.
Exactly. And there is deposit, right? Security deposit.
So this there's for DORA there is no security deposit, but for CASP license, there are new capital requirements, of course, depending on type of the businesses you do. It's either 100, 200 or 300,000 euros as own capital. And depending on your jurisdiction, there are own capital requirements ongoing. So, for example, in Estonia, we do own funds audit every quarter and send the report to the regulator. So we always have special, like designated amount of own capital on the books every time.
Right. There are still questions related
Yeah.
on
Let
Czech
me. Czech Republic, can you advise me? I'm a trader for Ukraine, but currently living in Czech Republic and an income through trading. How do you legalize my income in Europe? Do I need to obtain a license if I trade for myself? No, if you trade for yourself, regarding whether you are an individual or a company, you do not need a license. So you act as a principal. Uh, you don't need to do any license. In terms of legalization, I think it's very easy. You pay taxes where you are resident. You calculate how you pay taxes. You check Czech Republic laws on crypto trading, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty easy. Any income, regardless of whether it's crypto income or not crypto income, should be declared, and there are special laws, whether it's capital gains tax or just income tax. I think it's public information anywhere in Europe. It shouldn't be a big thing.
Yeah, let's scroll back to the Asif question. How do you see growth for country like India in terms of crypto adoption?
So, in terms of crypto adoption, I have very controversial view on it. So there are two things of crypto adoptions, like two aspects of crypto adoption. First is payments. So this is a use case that has been done with Bitcoin, stable coins, and other protocols. The first use case of crypto is payments. The second use case of crypto is investments. Basically, crypto acts as investment, a set of investment products like stocks, bonds, whatever. So when it comes to crypto adoption, in any country, everybody has to you have to think about why there should be a crypto adoption, what is being adopted, and when it comes to India, two things. India has heavy capital controls, and India, it's not easy to send money to and from India. So crypto and stablecoins act as alternative rails for sending money abroad and receiving money abroad from abroad. The second is when it comes to investments in India, people buy crypto to get rich, to profit, um, to become wealthier, and nobody can prevent and should prevent people from doing so. The only problem is that a lot of people in India, as well as in any other country, do not do their own research, and they fall the victims of scams, rug pulls, and so on, because crypto market is more risky and volatile. And I think the regulations in India should catch up on that, not to prevent people from investing in crypto, but to regulate how these investments are done through local platforms.
Right. Thanks. And there is another question regarding real world asset tokenization. Is there any specific licensing or registration required? RWA.
Sorry, I don't see that question. Can you repeat it? I'll listen.
For real world asset tokenization, RWA, is there any specific licensing or registration required?
So real world assets now, they are straightaway securities. When you tokenize, of course, when you tokenize, I mean, it can be not a security, it can be commodity. For example, you tokenize gold, you have gold token, it's a commodity. Okay, what is tokenization? Tokenization is a wrapper on top of the physical asset, right? Or a financial instrument. So this wrapper directly mimics the nature of the underlying asset, the regulatory status of this wrapper is the same as their underlying. So, for example, if you tokenize a financial instrument, there are clear rules in Europe, like MiFID, that tells that if the underlying instrument, underlying asset is a financial instrument, then the token is a financial instrument as well. Now, when it comes to commodities, it's the same. There are less understood assets, like, for example, real estate. Real estate itself is not a regulated product. However, if you tokenize real estate and sell those tokens as a profit sharing agreement, arrangement, or whatever, it will become securities. There's no doubt in it.
Good. And perhaps the last question, if there are any register where could be found any information whether the project already obtained a MiCA license or not. And
Yes, of course. In every country, there is an entity that regulates financial institutions, and there is a register of MiCA compliant companies.
so we can put the
In Germany, for example, is BaFin. You can go on BaFin's website and see all the companies that have a MiCA license, or the ones that have already passported their MiCA license from another EU state.
right. And you can search within this website,
Yes, yeah,
right?
of course. Yes, yeah, of course.
Good.
In
And
Portugal, it's Banco de Portugal. No, in Portugal, it will be the I can't pronounce it. The financial services in Estonia is financial inspection, and yeah, it's in every country there is one.
isn't there be the single for the whole MiCA region website?
No. Of course not. There
Okay.
is, for example, payment institutions. There is PSD, Payment Service Directive, and payment institutions are locally regulated, but they can passport their services across EU. There's no single register of payment institutions. However, in every state, every member state, there is a regulator, and there is a list of licensed payment institutions and a list of companies that passported their services in or out.
Good. Another question. If the company has been licensed in frame of MFID second as investing firm, does this
Okay,
mean
yeah,
you got it?
yeah. Let me. Yeah, there's the company license in frame of MiFID as investing firm. Does it mean that the company will operate in MiCA or should? Very good question, but there is a very straightforward answer to it. I don't remember it, but if you are okay, if you're a MiCA. Good question. I don't know, but there should be a very, very, very straightforward answer for it. Because if you're already MiFID registered, that means that, oh no, if you are MiFID registered investment firm, you need to have a separate application for MiCA, because MiCA regulates not only how investment products are sold, but also technical aspects of how the custody is done and how the exchange is done.
Hopefully, it was clear. Thanks our speaker for such an insightful conversation. So many. Again, another question. Sorry.
Okay. What jurisdiction in EU would you recommend for launching a crypto project in terms of convenience and clarity of local regulation? I would say that right now, EU is in regulatory uncertainty because there is this grandfathering regime from VASP to CASP, and every member state has own rules and terms and timelines for it. So it's not an easy period. However, next year it's going to be easy, and the rules going to be exactly the same across all the member states. So they're going to be the same harmonized regulation of crypto assets. and it will be up to a project how they want to do. What jurisdiction is closer to them, what jurisdiction is easier for them to do the business, and it will be less dependent on crypto regulation and more dependent on just general ease of doing business.
So the answer is nowadays, it might be difficult to answer this question, but
Yes.
with year, any country you want,
Yes.
rules are the same.
Yes, exactly.
So wait a little bit, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Or traditionally, those countries like Lithuania, Estonia, were
It changed. I mean, I can
debatable.
yeah, I can speak of Estonia. Estonia is great country of doing business, living there, and ease of doing any paperwork, um, any regulatory legal affairs. Everything is done easily in an electronic way. However, that doesn't mean that you, as a project, bear less responsibility from the compliance perspective. Because
Right.
if there is a regulation, you have to adhere to that regulation. And it's the same across all the member states. It's just in Estonia, sometimes it's easier because it's a smaller country and you are doing things digitally. But if you need to have a share capital and there is a requirement for it, that means that you will have to do it regardless of the member
Yeah.
state.
Yeah. And nevertheless, even though there is this grace period, there'll still be the time when you need to apply for the MiCA regulation.
Yes,
And
yes. And this grace period applies only to companies that have existing VASP license.
oh yeah, exactly right.
It
Yeah.
doesn't apply for new companies. So if you're a new company, you have to apply for CASP straight away. And this is going to be challenging and it's going to be not easy. So yeah, everywhere is going to be not easy these days. It's not an easy task.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for your insights again. Hopefully we'll see somewhere, I guess, in Portugal, maybe next time Bali or whatever conferences it might be. Thank all the attendees for those questions and for your attention. See you soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.